You'll be surprised at how little you really know about the life experiences and the knowledge that your parents and your grandparents have. Many years after my parents died, I had all these questions that I wanted to ask them as I ran into new life experiences. Some were questions that my children were asking me about our culture and our traditions that I could not answer. I asked my friends whose parents were still alive, and I found out that when they are no longer here, many of us will regret the conversations that we did not have with our parents and our grandparents. In Africa, our older relatives are a generation who grew up through one of the most consequential periods of our history. They experienced colonialism, conflict, the independence movement, and the taking of ownership for rebuilding the country after independence. Some were the first to experience formal education and to leave home to study or work afar. They are also probably the last generation that fully understands and experiences most of the important cultural rites and rituals of your tribe. You've probably studied some of these events from a Western perspective, but not from an African perspective, or indeed from the perspective of those who actually lived it. Now, why is any of this important? There's an old saying that goes that when an old person dies, it's like a library burns down. That library contains your family's history and culture, and it is part of your family's treasure. That library from each family is what adds up to create a history of your clan, your tribe, and eventually your country. And finally, it contains great entertainment and wisdom. Your parents were once young, and they have amazing and fun stories about growing up, about getting into trouble, about having fun, and the lessons that they also learned from the challenges that they faced in life. But more importantly, you will find that they are really eager to tell these stories if we ask the right questions. You can play a really big role in helping to capture this treasure for your family and therefore contribute to preserving the history of your tribe, your country, from the family perspective as a building block. We're here to help you accomplish that. Many Africans have long recognized the importance of doing this and have been attempting to do this by writing notes when they're speaking to their parents, sometimes putting a tape recorder in front of their parents and their grandparents while asking them questions. But when you look at the results, it is a fraction of what is possible. What makes the key difference is asking the right questions and focusing on the right topics, and also a very simple interview approach that we can share. That's what we've put together for you. These categories, these questions and tips that are very well researched have been shown to deliver good results. I invite you to start by simply looking at the sample questions, and you'll realize that there are a lot more interesting conversations that you're yet to have with your older relatives. What you will get from this is for you and your family. However, you're welcome to share any interesting bits with us to contribute to an oral history archive for our society that we're building. So this Christmas, as your family gathers, we encourage you or your children to have these conversations and capture them. Don't postpone it. Action is better than regret. I can testify to that. You will enjoy the process, you will learn a lot from it, and your children and your grandchildren will thank you for it.